Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special episode of Cricket Spectacle. I'm Siddharth Gulati and I'm joined by the usual suspects, Nikhil Deshpande and Dan Gardner. There's a reason why I mentioned special episode early on. There are cricket or even sports stories or even information which the fans and even Nikhil, Dan and myself don't even get to know nowadays. Perhaps too much cricket is the reason behind it. But last month, the International Cricket Council made a major announcement regarding its newest member countries, and we three knew that there's definitely a story which deserves attention. So without any further delay, I welcome Mr. Alexander Mackay, President Cricket Switzerland. So it's good to have you, and congratulations to you and your team and the players at Switzerland Cricket on being welcomed as a newest member country.
Thank you very much. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, sir, first things first, how is everyone in your family and how's the COVID situation in Switzerland? And I hope all of you are vaccinated.
Yes. Well, me personally, I'm double vaccinated. Still required to wear masks here when you're indoors and on public transport. But apart from that, cricket season is up and running since the 1st of June here. Yeah, people are out playing cricket in the sunshine, sometimes in the drizzling rain, yeah, things are up and running. We're very pleased about that.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. So, okay, let me just start off with a bit of history regarding cricket in Switzerland for all those who are going to watch this episode. The sport has been played in the country since 1817, and the first official organization, which was the Swiss Cricket Association, was formed way back in 1980. And in, I think, 5 years down the line from then, Switzerland obtained affiliate status from the ICC. However, in 2012, it was Switzerland lost its affiliate status due to some internal differences before returning to the international fold to July earlier this year. So, sir, my first question to you is that how difficult has developing cricket in Switzerland been, considering the state of affairs, over the years?
I mean, we were lucky that Switzerland is an affluent country. And so the parents and coaches and officials and players, they're able to finance lots of things themselves. So there's no doubt that it had a negative impact on the development of cricket or the speed that we're growing, and in particular in the facilities, investment in the facilities, because we're very much dependent on public sports facilities. So being back in the ICC now gives us access to finances that we can invest in better grounds, bigger grounds, better quality grounds, and we hope to bring. We have probably 7 or 8 permanent pitches in this country, and we need to double that now in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you just talked about developing. Maybe you want to have a lot number of pitches, probably a couple of more grounds. I just have a question for you. Before I switch ends with both Nikhil and Dan. So, how do you spot the talents across the country and nurture them? Or what's been the process over the years, and what are the things that you're probably looking forward to have in place in the future?
Yeah. So at the moment, if somebody moves to this country, and generally the people that play cricket in this country are expats. They come from a cricketing nation, and they normally move here through work, and sometimes they're refugee status, which gives us certain challenges when it comes to finances, because they're obviously not able to finance themselves. But as I said, Switzerland is an affluent country, and we have enough people here that put their hands in their pockets and help these people out, and we provide them with discounts and things like that, so they're able to play cricket at no disadvantage to anybody else. But people tend to come here. They will normally find us over the web. Somebody will receive an email and they get introduced to a local club, and then they just join training, and very soon they find themselves in a team and they're playing competitively. When it comes to the talent for national teams, we have a system. We have a small selection committee split across the country, so people are actually there and they can actually identify these people. We have a 30 to 40 junior coaches. So a lot of these people now will be identified at the age of, say, 13, 14, good players. We're very fortunate also that we have England international Bob Barber, played cricket back in the 50s and 60s for England. And he recognises our youngest talent for what we call the Bob Barber Awards. So they're the best and the most improved players at in the junior categories, and they then move along and they move through the age groups and eventually drop into a senior team. So we have, like you would, I would say, in many cricketing nations, we have now players being fed into the seniors, not just from people moving here for work, but also through learning cricket here. We've had stories also of people, young men, have moved from Switzerland and gone to the UK, for instance, to university because they're studying in English, and they've stepped up and walked straight into the university teams. So we're not, our juniors, Michael Hall and his team are doing a great job in developing young talent here.
Yeah, that's I think, yeah, that's pretty heartening to hear. I think I'll just take one more question before I just get to Dan. So I just want to know that what kind of work, or let's say what kind of efforts have been put in by the likes of maybe Chris Lodge, the Cricket Switzerland coach, and the other support staff in say maybe keeping all the players motivated and fresh during these tough times when that you're probably not having too much cricket. Now it's probably because of maybe COVID, but earlier also not just the part that that you haven't had those matches, then there was this problem, internal differences, then there was no affiliate status. So how how do you basically try to keep things fresh and motivated so that probably things can progress in future?
Yeah, I mean, Chris has had the last 18 months off because there's been no international travel. So working in the background, we hold coaching sessions and cricket camps for talented people in the different age groups. That's run internally in the country. What we have done over the last 10 years, excluding the last 18 months, we've found opponents in the developing countries, developing nations, countries like Poland, for instance, where we've gone out there and played, or in Romania. And we've played them in international matches at T20 and 50 over levels. Now, of course, we're looking at moving into the T20 qualifiers for the World Cup in 23, I think it is, the next one. So we'll be looking now to join the ICC and their tournaments for qualification for that, working our way through the various groups, getting promotion, and you never know, maybe qualification in the World Cup. Obviously, that's going to take a lot of hard work, but Switzerland is, because we've been established for so long, we're actually up and running. There's lots of cricket going on here. And I made it quite clear to the ICC that when we join, we don't just want to join and then put our feet up. We want to join and we want to play an active part in international cricket. So already now we're looking at trying to host some international tournaments in this country. We don't know if we're ready, but we have people that have been around a long time and they have experience in umpiring at international level and organising relatively large tournaments, so we need to put those skills to the test, and we will submit our bid to the ICC in due course, and hopefully they'll look upon it favourably, and we'll be then playing an active part in European cricket and not just on the sidelines.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay,
and just before we came online, Alex mentioned that they have better weather than England as well. So just in case anyone's watching and deciding where to put the matches, I am in favor of Switzerland instead of England, because we don't want any washout matches, we would rather have it in Switzerland, and I'm pretty sure we'll work something out, right, Alex?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, Nikhil, would you just probably like to take over before Dan can finish?
Yeah, I have a very interesting T20 related question, Alex. Like, did you see any increase in popularity? Because I read a statistic that since T20 came to the forefront of cricket, there's been a 14% increase across the world in players who play cricket, or new players who are joining. 14% increase is what was quoted. Did you see any increase in Switzerland in the last few years in the T20 sector particularly? Was that something which has appealed more to the younger generation or the new players as such, or is it more towards the traditional 50 over and test cricket which you see over there?
No, I think the popularity of the shorter formats is more attractive to a lot of people. And particularly to the young people, where they can turn up. You compare it to something like football or soccer, where you turn up, you play 90 minutes, and you go home again, back to your families or your girlfriend. And you can do that with T20. So it'd be twice 1.5 hours, and then off you go. And we've even seen a development now with the European Cricket League, where T10 is becoming a very popular format as well. So we have 21, 22 clubs participating in our T20 league, which actually is the only sponsored competition that we have. The others are still without sponsors. So if anyone's out there and wants to sponsor some cricket in Switzerland, don't hesitate to contact me. So the T20 is supported, and they're very, very helpful indeed, and it allows us to move that competition forward, and that is the T20 format.
Yeah,
of course, also
in general as well, worldwide, T20 would be the sport now because of the growing popularity of local T20 sports leagues as such, because there are so many. You can watch more of it, and there's obviously that appeal that what you watch more, you want to play as well.
And it's very much the focus of the ICC at the moment as well, is T20 as opposed to the 50 over format.
Yeah. And I think, again, before we came online, we had a small chat, and you mentioned the growth of women's cricket in Switzerland, which is one of the criteria for getting the affiliate status as well. Would you like to talk a bit about that? Because I'm really interested in the whole, the whole package of how Switzerland cricket is looking right now. Right now is you have a futuristic point of view. It's not just like you said, you're not there just to make up the numbers. You're actually working towards something which is really exciting right now. So something that you would like to add on that part?
Yeah, we started. We started probably about 5-6 years ago when we actually created a position on the executive for a women's development officer to recognise the fact that we want to develop that side of things. Small degrees of success in the beginning, then it grew where we had an active team, and then a team that went out to Austria to compete internationally. Unfortunately, that bubble burst, and then last year we decided that we need, because we were seeking ICC membership, it's something that we could no longer ignore. We got a new women's development officer in. This time is a he, and he's done a terrific job so far. He's been targeting schools and associations, Indian associations, embassies around the country to try and just get the message out there that cricket's being played. And from these events where we participate, if we attract 1 or 2 members to any particular team, it's a success for us. So it is a priority of ours at the moment, and we've got lots of focus on it. A lot of our resources are being pumped into that area of things as well, because the other areas, if you think of the 3 pins, which is going to be junior cricket, women's cricket, and men's cricket, there's the 3-pin stool, 3-legged stool, and one leg is a bit wobbly at the moment. So we're focusing in that area, We've had some success as well. It's been very rewarding in some areas, but it's something that we can't afford to let up on. So we have or I have weekly meetings with Mohammed Vazim, who's our women's development officer, and he's very much focused on growing the game and taking teams out to play in various tournaments.
Yeah.
Don't sit on the fence here, Alex. I mean, how far away? Be honest with us. How far away are the Switzerland team away from taking on England at a T20? There's something we'd love to see.
Beating England.
You want this in years or decades?
Oh,
Days would be preferred. Yes, we'll take years.
It will be a while. It will be a while. Yeah.
well, if Scotland can do it, we think there's hope. Where it's like there's hope. If Scotland can do it, if Ireland can do it, surely a team from the continent can strike a blow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think a few of the other associate countries as well, affiliate ones, who have really shown that there is a way to do it, and it is possible to do it. Like Afghanistan has had a very quick rise. Like I don't think anyone expected them to grow so quickly. So there is the whole blueprint element of it as well, right? So are there any countries that you look at maybe and think, okay, we can probably emulate them or try to take some
definitely. Our neighbours just north of us in Germany. Yeah, it's very successful. Yeah, and I have contact with Brian Mantle on a regular basis. That's the CEO of German cricket. With Monica Loveday, who's running the women's cricket over there as well. We've even discussed putting a women's team into the German league. Because they are probably 5 or 6 years ahead of us at the moment. So yeah, but you know what it's like. Yeah, they are. They're very, very well organized, and Germany's a large country, so they if you think, well, the Switzerland is probably the size of or equivalent of one of their counties. Yeah. So we've been offered a few opportunities out with Germany to help us develop things, and obviously that's mutual. So
that's really good to know, though, because with Germany, like you said, if you could get that experience for your players to just play with players who are playing like slightly above their level, but not such a huge gap that they feel inferior as well. So it's just the right amount of the next level where you can learn from them and aspire to be them. So
correct. Yes.
There's that element as well. Dan, I know you have a lot of questions because you want to know when Switzerland will obviously be England. As an Australian, Alex, you should know that Dan, and he has converted me as well. I live in Australia, so now we both equally have a liking for teams who can beat England. So I'll let Dan ask you a few questions as well, and
okay.
Take it.
Just bear in mind, my name is Scottish and my parents are Scottish, but I grew up in London, so I have
more reason for you, Alex, to beat them now.
Yeah, well, I mean, what sort of drew you to Swiss cricket in the first place? I mean, Switzerland's not generally a place you think of when you think of cricket. Obviously, it's your traditional places. What sort of got you involved in the game there?
I turned up here as a young man. I think I was about 24 years old when I came to Switzerland for work, and my wife is Swiss. Yep. So I moved here for love. Yeah. Yep. And I found a job, and then within about 9 months, I found out there was a cricket club locally. I thought, well, okay, that's odd. Yeah, why not? I mean, it helps me integrate. So I went along there, and there were just a bunch of English guys that loved their cricket, and so I got involved. And within about 3 weeks, I was on their committee. Because you can write, good, you're in. And then a few years later, I was challenging the then president of the Swiss Cricket Association on certain issues, and he said, "Look, Alex, if you want to make a change, come on board." And so I got involved on the national level as well. So and I have been ever since. So I've been involved in or actively involved in developing cricket in Switzerland for 30 years. But it's only really the last 10 that it's made much of a difference.
Yeah. Do you think now, being obviously having the right status with the ICC, do you think now we're going to see a more of a dramatic rise in Swiss cricket? I mean, it's going to make a difference. How much of a difference is it going to make?
Yeah, we're hoping so. Not just because we have access to certain budgets within the ICC, and also to courses to develop the talent here, and on the playing level, on a coaching level, and an officials level, so umpiring and scoring. We're also hoping that we'll be able to use this to help us attract some of our own sponsorship. So we have some of our own money available to us, which is also a prerequisite of the ICC. You have to show that you can, that you can finance yourself without the ICC, which we've obviously proven the last 9 years that we can. But the extra resources help us. Of course, the extra resources mean that's one problem out the way, but then there's more problems become because you have the resources, because then you have other type of resources, which is manpower or skills, where you need to develop that. What we have leveraged. About 4 years ago, we became members of Swiss Olympic, which is the umbrella organization for all sports in this country. It has nothing to do with the Olympics, of course, because the sports are Olympics. They're also members, and they get double points. But if you're an Olympic sport, and I just read the other day that cricket could be going that way as well. So that would also help us in this country get local funding from the umbrella organization. They also have an academy which helps associations, no specific sport in mind, just to associations to run themselves professionally and ethically. And so we've signed up to all those code of conducts and things like that, so that although we're an amateur association, doesn't mean that we need to run an amateur way.
No. Yeah, with cricket being talked about for the Olympics, is that a possible goal for you guys to have perhaps a team sort of go?
Oh, it would be, most certainly, yes. That would be, yep. Yeah, I'd embrace that very much. Yeah,
that would be brilliant.
Switzerland being one of the main European hubs for soccer as well, right? Like, it's a huge sport over there.
Yes.
You reckon there is any opportunity there for soccer clubs to build smaller cricket franchises of their own? Is that something which is in your
vision, you have
5 years down the line?
Yeah, you have here sports clubs. So, for instance, Lausanne, which is predominantly a football club, but it's SC Lausanne, Sport Club Lausanne. The same with Grasshoppers in Zurich. The Grasshoppers, for instance, have a very good hockey team, land hockey. So there's no reason why these sports clubs can't develop their own cricket clubs as well, and we'd certainly embrace that.
Yeah, because I think in Australia, the AFL clubs, the Australian footy clubs, right? So they have their own sister netball teams, which have seen a good response, because you have a built-in franchise, right? So then it's easier to dip into that and tell them, okay, here's a new sport which our club is behind as well. So there's that element of dipping into an already filled market, and then you're just trying to get their eyes on it.
What we will need to do is, when they build a football ground, we need to talk to them and convince them not to put some floodlights on every corner, because a football field obviously is just too small as a cricket field. And so if they put metal barriers all the way around, and advertising boards and floodlights on the four corners, then it's no longer useful for any other sport but football. or perhaps rugby. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but we need to engage with these other associations and with these sports clubs in order to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's potential there, and as in, like you said, there are so many ways you can go about this. And if let's say a certain Roger Federer would like to give you a wave, I don't think you'll say no to that, Alex.
Yeah. Well, I've actually seen Roger Federer play cricket as well, because his mother's South African, of course. So I've seen him with a cricket bat in his hand.
Is he any good?
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. Is he an all-rounder? Middle batsman, first change bowler. What are we thinking here? Maybe
if we could get Roger Federer to turn up to a cricket match, we'd have thousands of people watching.
Yeah.
You would have to push people back, and they're like, no more tickets, and that's it for today. That's a good problem to have, though.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I just have a quick question before we wrap up. So I just want to know one thing, that what are the steps that are being taken by Cricket Switzerland towards the financial security of the players, plus maybe the insurance schemes? If you could just, shed some light on this.
You mean for injury wise, or?
I think for both,
for
both the international level players and the domestic level players, and plus any of the insurance schemes that are possibly being put in place.
Okay. Well, the way Switzerland's set up, every individual needs to have a personal insurance, health insurance, which is health and accident. And accident is part of that package, and so therefore we don't need to do anything there. Cricket isn't considered a dangerous sport, so there's no special requirements there. But every player, anyone that's playing cricket, needs to have personal insurance. But then you need to have personal insurance by law in this country, so no problems there. And what was the other part of the question, sorry?
Yeah, it's just basically the steps towards the financial security of the players, and plus any of the insurance schemes that you just spoke about. Yeah. Okay.
Players at the moment are not being compensated, as far as I know, by their clubs, or certainly not by the association. That's a prospect we could be moving towards, where we have people that are actually being financially compensated for playing matches. I don't think we're very far away from that, but at the moment it's not the case. Yeah. What we do though, however, is we compensate umpiring. So umpires, when they turn up for a match, there's a small match fee for a T20, slightly larger match fee for a 40 or 50 over, and they get a small fee plus travel expenses, which is something we only introduced about 3 years ago. Before that, everything was purely voluntary.
Okay, sir, it was really nice to have you, and we really hope that Switzerland cricket grows at a good pace, and some great stories from your end. Definitely an informative chat. And for everyone watching our episodes, do like our video, subscribe to our channel. It would mean a lot to us. And until then, on behalf of Alex, Nikhil, Dan, it's Siddharth saying goodbye.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.